Here is Think Central tutorial for lesson 6.6 for homework. We're going to be again working on multiplicative comparisons involving multiplication and also division. So on the next slide I've got the view example for this problem, but let's go ahead and unpack it. The model represents the time a student works on spelling, S is the variable, or M math homework. So what is the multiplicative comparison here? So let's look. First off, we see that S is definitely smaller than M, so he spends more time on math than he does on spelling, or he spends less time on spelling than he does on math. Select the comparison sentence that includes the word as long as, so we're going to use that language of comparison, as long as, comparing M to T. So we know that M is greater than S, so let's find out. A, M is 8 times as long as S. B, M is 7 times as long as S. C, M is 6 times as long as S. Or D, M is 1/7 as long. Well, it's not 1/7 as long because that's smaller. So let's count the parts. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that tells us it's not 8 times longer. So 8 is out. 6 is out. It's got to be 7. Select the comparison sentence that includes the word as long as, comparing S to M. So we're going backwards, so we know that S is less than M, so we're going to look for a less than sentence. So 1/7 is less than, 1/8 is 1 less than, 7 times, no, that's not true because we're going less than, 1/6 is less than, and we know that it's 7th. So the opposite of 7 times is 1/7, so we're going to have to go with A. And looking at our answers here, just to make sure we're right, it says the amount of time spent on homework is greater than, so how many times greater? It's 7 times greater, and that the inverse of that is 1/7 as long. So we did get the correct answer because we are really smart. So let's look at this model. We see that S is smaller than M, so we know that S is less than M. And how many times less is it? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So S is 1/7 of M, or you can take M, S is equal to, and M is the greater one, so we're dividing it by 7. So M divided by 7 will equal S. That's a comparison comparing S to M using division. And here we go, same thing here. They're just showing it two different ways. They're saying that M divided by 7, that's the same as M over 7, because remember, anytime you see a division sign, that it also indicates that it's a fraction. So M over 7 would equal to S. Let's unpack problem number 3. For homework, the length of a collapsed fishing pole is C. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a fishing pole, and that's the length here. I'm going to use a comparison bar model. So that is C, which is 1/7 times as long. So this is shorter than if it is extended all the way out. So it's collapsed. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's one part of 7 when it's folded up. So what is, if the extended length, if this length is 14, then what is C? Well, it's 1/7 of 14, or you can just take away parts, and you can easily see that this is 2, 14 divided by 7 would be 2. So each of the 7 pieces would be 2. So it must be 2 feet. And here, let's take a look at our next slide. All right, so on our next slide, it's showing the exact same model that we did. It's 1/7 of means time, so we're doing 1/7 of 14, which is 14/7, which is 14 divided by 2, right here. That's 14 divided by 2. Remember, fractions are division, and you get 2 feet. So that is our comparison bar between the folded up fishing pole and the extended pole. Unpacking problem 4 out of 5. Gina and Mario each receive an allowance. So far this year, Gina has saved $40 and Mario has saved 0.5 times. Well, 0.5 times is decimal, so let's go with Gina here. And Gina saved $40, and this is her savings, $40. And Mario is 0.5 times, or 5/10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a comparison bar for Mario, and I'm going to cut that into 10 pieces. And each one of those would be a tenth. So he has saved 5/10, which is that, 0.5 is the same as 5 out of 10. 5/10, so he has saved that much, which happens to be half. So you just do 0.5 times 40, and you can do the traditional multiplication, and you do 0.5 times 40, so you go to decimal island on that. 40 times 5 is 200 with one decimal point, so half of 40 is 20. He must have saved $20. Let's check out the view example on Think Central. And here's the view example. So they didn't show us the bar model, but they did the exact same thing we did. They took $40 times 5/10, which is 20, and they compared this amount. So Gina saved more money than Mario. A math quiz. Juan was asked to find these two products. He did 3 times 10 and 8/10, and he did 2.4 times 10 and 8/10. So without doing anything, we're just going to do mental math here. Which one is going to be greater? Well, 3 is greater than 2 and 4/10, so therefore this answer here has to be greater than this answer here, because 3.8 is greater than 2.4 times 10 because 3 is greater than 4, and 2.4 times 8 is less than 3 times 10.8 because 2.4 is less than 3 wholes. And here is the Think Central explanation when we look at the example. So hopefully when you do your problem, it should be fairly straightforward. All right. There is our answer. And you are smart, so hopefully you will look at this video and it will help you get your answers and develop mastery on your test. Make sure you ask for a lot of questions and do your IXL practice. Also put some good videos on the lesson on our Google Classroom that will help you understand comparison language.